Hey guys, it's DuconRed1 and welcome to episode 21 of Let's Build Chateau de Lumiere. So today we're going to be working on the back corner of the plot, right behind the Lord's residence. This side consists mostly of fields, atmospheric details, and 3 structures, which I'm pretty excited to show you. Starting out, we have some technical difficulties with the replays. I was not able to recover the first one, so we are going to be starting mid-construction of this chandelier here, aka candle maker. Very important business to have in medieval era because, well, candles provide light and, well, Chateau de Lumiere, right? Anyways, let's get right into this. Okay guys, so starting out, we're going to be working on a few details on the back side of the chandelier. We did some atmospheric details there with the window flowers and then that little back shed and that little cupola on top. Now coming on the inside, I start working on a few interior floor plan ideas and also the fireplace on the back side. I really wanted to try to maximize the space inside here as I could, but well, there's only so much room you can smush into a space like that. And then of course some atmospheric details as is expected of a build around Lumiere. Very, very rich, might I add. So, going on the inside of the chandelier here, we're working on some interior details and just making a living space where our chandelier would be able to live, eat his dinner, and just, well, you know, live. Sleeping arrangements will be later on. Over here, we're working on the actual chandelier workshop where he would make the candles, dip them into wax, etc., and produce the candles for the castle. And so forth, like that. Well, down here we got some storage that I would expect a chandelier would need a lot of storage to put extra wax, maybe wicks, or just maybe his own personal supplies of food and things that would keep his family comfortable throughout maybe the winter seasons, etc. Here we have the master bedroom. As you can see, there's really only so much you can do in a space like this, and I tried to cram in as much detail as I could. And then we have the kids' bedroom back here. And as is expected in a chandelier, there would usually be an apprentice. So you got the bunk beds for the kids, and then you got the apprentice there to the left. Coming in through here, we got that little hallway. Now, yes, we did miss another replay, and I'm going to try to walk you through this. We got a little trellis out here with some plums or blueberries or whatnot. We got a tree in the back with a little tree house, something that I was inspired to do from Artocraft. I got the idea from an Artocraft build that I had seen previously on a, well, while I was walking through Artocraft. I guess that's all that really needs to be said about that. We make a really fancy outhouse behind here, a tree swing, and then a place to chop wood and miscellaneous details down the back here, which you guys will be seeing later. On the back side here, we're working on now atmospheric details, and I really wanted to try to block out the exterior of the plot as much as I could from inside the plot. And this pine tree here really does a job in making the viewer while you're walking through the plot to keep your focus within the plot versus outside. Here we make a few beehives. An apiary is what it's called, where the beekeeper, well, he would need beeswax in order to produce the wax for his candles, and so this might be just one of many. Got his little shed back here and a garden, etc. Just miscellaneous details to for his living arrangements and such. And of course, now we need a lot of atmospheric details. You can't build this plot, or I can't build this plot without adding in a ton of flowers and just making sure that every single block feels like it should be there. And as we move around on the back side here, we are now going to be heading up to the next structure, which is the farmhouse, or a farmhouse, one of the 2 so far. More of a manor, but I still like the idea that it's a farmhouse. As you can see, we go for a more bulbous roof style versus a triangular or A-frame style. Something that I just wanted to do is just add in different types of styles throughout and just make it seem diverse and interesting. Coming in the front here, I wanted to add in some kind of indication that the person who lives here is doing something, so maybe he's making a cart, and that's what I was doing there. So I usually kind of think that, well, a house needs all kinds of miscellaneous things because, you know, a farmer doesn't just handle one thing. You know, he handles a whole multitude of things and a family, etc. So maybe this one farmhouse manages about 6 or 7 of these field plots. So now finishing up with some miscellaneous details, a chicken coop out back, etc. This farmer is good to go. Now heading inside, we're going to be working on some miscellaneous interior decor. Of course, he needs living arrangements in order to sleep and for his children to sleep, etc. Kitchen to eat, table to eat at, storage room, and etc. down below. There's a lot of miscellaneous things that, a farmer would need. Well, anyone would need to live. Just think about when you're building, what does the people, the occupants of your structure, what do they need in order to survive? And then just add that in. So again, we're going for another diverse design, something different, something interesting. I didn't want to just do a copy-paste style is what I consider it. I really like to keep things different, as architects would most likely change throughout the course of building. And of course, even some of these houses would be built possibly by the people that live in them themselves, and so architectural style, etc. would change. It wouldn't be extreme, of course, but there would be enough of a difference to make it seem a little more interesting and keep things just different throughout your build. So a little garden out back there, and now we're going to be working on another pine tree. I really liked the idea of making sure that we had lots of atmosphere in here, and I really wanted to spread those pine trees out, because so far they have been only on the outside of the plot, and by just making that one right there, it takes away that static feel of the pine trees. Little outhouse out back here and some miscellaneous gardens, and then there is a Dovecote, place for doves. Doves suited a multitude of purposes in the medieval era. One for pigeon meat. They were very, foul, bird meat was great, delicious, a delicacy for the inhabitants of the richer folk, etc. would enjoy doves. But anyways, off that. Also for messages, carrier pigeons and things. Now going on the inside here, we're working on a fireplace and miscellaneous details just to try to fill her up and make it feel like it is livable. Coming on the upstairs here, we got the kids' room there directly across, and then the master bedroom. Here on the front side, we got a storage room, more or less like a barn, and directly underneath it is actually the stable for the occupant's horse. I really want to make sure that there was something like that there. As you can see right there, we don't really go inside there, but in any case, it's there. And then here's the hayloft, and then you come back down this way, and then that leads you into the cellar where there is wine. Of course there's wine. I just kind of came up with this idea that this farmer is a winemaker, but doesn't make it for like widespread. It's only like a closed knit group type of winemaking. It's not for everybody, it's just for the family and maybe some very close relatives or friends that may come and visit. Now on the backside here, in Lumiere's lore, there was once elven occupants of this land, and the elven occupants obviously were annihilated when the Empire came through and conquered this territory. And so this is the remnants of an elven manor that had been here before. And this tree that you are seeing there with obviously the orange leaves really makes a difference, or is different of course, and is, yes, elven, etc. No real specific lore to it, but it's there. That tent there is, again, an indication of the tourney that's going on currently. I'm trying to make it so that there is it's a constant kind of thing across the plot. It's all these knights kind of camping out around the plot. So that's where the squire and their cart would be. So then coming around the back here, we're working on some miscellaneous atmospheric details, and so that's about it actually. This has really been a lot of fun to be able to put this all together, and really like the result. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get into the show through. So I liked the idea of doing something a little bit different for the showcase here today. Instead of doing a in-game walkthrough, I like the idea of doing a cinematic type, just interesting showcase to really bring the atmosphere alive. And I really am enjoying this quite a bit. So I hope you guys do as well, as we are flying through the air and seeing all the things that there are to see. Now, for those of you that want to see the in-game building and maybe walk-arounds or even how things progressed, you can reference the streams down below. I will be listing all the streams and try to title them in a way that is very specific to what you might want to see. So say if you want to see the chandelier being built or that farmhouse that's right ahead of us right now, you can just go down below, look at that stream, and just skip through if you want to and find specific parts that may interest you and explain certain things that you might be questionable about or might be interested in seeing how it progressed. So there is that option if you are interested. At the end of this series, I will be doing a full showcase of everything. So don't worry, guys. If for those of you that might be missing the in-game show around for this episode, don't worry. One option is to come by one of my streams over on Twitch and see it that way, or you can just wait till the last episode, which will probably be about 10 years from now. I'm kidding. No, hopefully not that long. But in any case, hopefully it'll be sometime in the near future and will be a full showcase of everything in game, and should answer a lot of questions. But this overall is just showing the atmosphere of the build and demonstrating the vibes that I've really been trying to go for, just the overwhelming detail that is coming alive through vibrant colors and just the beautification that I've really been trying to put into this. The vivaciousness of all these plants and animals and just miscellaneous details really steps out and portrays the feeling that I'm trying to go for in being that type of atmosphere. I'm trying to make all these different flow paths and just terrain features that you don't want flat terrain. You don't want there to be any constant flat parts of your build that might be considered boring or uninteresting. You always want to have those interesting parts, even if it seems like it's not important. The small details do count. It might not be noticeable by those that may be watching or looking at your build, but as a personal kind of drive for myself, a personal goal is to finish what I started and really go in and do the full 9 yards and not skip corners, which I'm honestly kind of feeling a little bit down about because I do want to get this series done. However, I do want to finish the underground. At the same time, I've been kind of going back and forth about skipping my next underground episode, just getting the Lord's Residence done, finishing the other corner, doing the final touch-ups, and then calling this series a wrap. However, I think that might not be the case. I haven't fully decided yet, but that's what I want to do. I just want to call this series a wrap and be able to move on, but I'm going to let you guys decide. Should I include the next underground episode, or should I just call it, just cut it out? I'm going to leave it to you guys, and maybe we'll set up a straw poll or something. I don't know, but depending on comments down below, let me know what you think. But yeah, our next episode, by the way, guys, is going to be the Lord's Residence. So we will be technically finishing the manor next episode, so please don't miss that. It's going to be great. And I'll be live streaming that, of course, as usual. That is that little red spot right there that is definitely in need of some love. But in any case, I hope to see you guys then. If you like this episode, guys, please hit that like button. Don't forget to comment below and subscribe if you want to see more. And I hope to see you next time. Till then, bye-bye.